He sits alone in the dim room, staring at the chaos around him, wondering how his life slipped away. The silence is heavy, broken only by the hum of the old refrigerator. He scans the floor, his eyes landing on the last bottle he swore he wouldn't touch again. His phone lights up on the coffee table, a string of missed calls he's too ashamed to answer. Each name on the screen feels like another failure. He listens to the echo of his own heartbeat, a dull, lonely rhythm in his chest. Is this it? Is this what rock bottom feels like? A ghost of his former self flashes in his mind, the version who once had dreams, friends, confidence. Where did that person go? He pushes himself up and opens a window, hoping the cold night air can numb what the alcohol no longer does. Staring at his reflection in the dark glass, he sees a stranger, someone he doesn't recognize. Sunken eyes, a pale face, a hollow expression. He pushes aside a small mountain of empty cans and sits on the edge of the bed, exhausted by the simple act of existing. Then, a memory hits him, sharp and clear. It's from before the addiction, a time when life still felt possible, full of color and promise. He laughs, a bitter, dry sound that gets lost in the room. He's not sure if he's losing his mind or finally finding it. He picks up his phone and scrolls through old photos. There he is, smiling, surrounded by people who loved him. That person seems like a stranger now, from a different lifetime. He sinks to the floor, letting the silence press down on him like a physical weight. His hands begin to shake as he reaches for the bottle, his fingers hovering just inches away. He stops. A whisper escapes his lips, raw and desperate. I can't keep doing this. But the room remains unforgivingly quiet. He collapses into a painful realization, a truth he's been running from for years. No one is coming to save him. The thought is terrifying. He imagines his family, his parents, hearing the news one day that he's gone. A sudden, cold surge of fear grips him, more powerful than any craving. He crawls toward the bathroom, his movements clumsy and slow. He turns on the tap and splashes cold water on his face, again and again, trying to shock himself back to reality. He watches the water drip from his chin, each drop like a second of his life slipping away. Wiping the fog from the mirror, he forces himself to look at his swollen, tired eyes. This isn't him. He opens the medicine cabinet and, in a moment of clarity, dumps pills, bottles, and every other vice into the trash can. A wave of panic follows. He clenches the sink, his knuckles white, fighting the primal urge to take them all back out. He can't, not this time. He steps into the hallway, dizzy but strangely determined. He walks past reminders of everything he broke, a picture frame, a stack of unopened mail, a gift he never acknowledged. Looking at his shaking hands, he takes a deep, ragged breath. He opens the front door and steps outside for the first time in days. The sunlight hits him, and he has to shield his eyes. It feels warm, almost forgiving, something he forgot existed. He starts walking, aimlessly, not sure where he's going, only knowing he has to keep moving forward. He finds a park bench and sits down, breathing in air that feels clean and new. He watches children laugh on a playground, their joy so pure and simple. How did he become so disconnected from life? And then, he feels something unusual, a tiny flicker in his chest. It's faint, but it's their hope. Shame washes over him again, and he pulls his hood up, wanting to be invisible. He takes out his phone and scrolls through his contacts, his thumb stopping at a name he once pushed away, a friend he'd hurt. He hesitates, his heart pounding. Then, he presses call. The ringing feels like an eternity. He almost hangs up, but then the ringing stops. A familiar voice answers, confused but clearly concerned. He struggles to speak, choking on his own embarrassment, the words caught in his throat. He finally whispers, I need help. The silence on the other end feels longer than it is. Then, the voice replies gently, I'm coming. He closes his eyes, letting the weight of those 3 words settle over him. He's not alone. He waits on the bench, just watching the world move around him. A car pulls up, and the door opens. He steps inside without speaking. The ride is quiet, but it's not uncomfortable. It's a shared silence, a supportive one. He watches buildings pass by, feeling a slow, profound shift inside him. He arrives at a small house, filled with a warmth he forgot people could give. Someone he trusts. He sits on a couch while they bring him a glass of water. He drinks it like it's the first real thing he's had in days. He just listens as they tell him, you're not alone. We'll figure this out together. Guilt rises in his throat, but for the first time, he doesn't run from it. He just nods and whispers, okay. He's given a blanket and rests on the couch, falling into a real sleep for the first time without passing out. He wakes up feeling strange, clearer, lighter. He steps outside to breathe the crisp morning air, and it feels new, like the first day of the rest of his life. He speaks honestly to someone for the first time in years. He admits everything, what he's done, what he's lost, and what he still, deep down, wants to become. He's told recovery will hurt, that it will be the hardest thing he's ever done. But then he's told that staying the same will hurt even more. He agrees. He's already been hurting long enough. He enters his first support meeting with trembling hands. He sits among strangers who aren't strangers at all. They know exactly what he feels. He hears stories that mirror his own, tales of despair and hope. He realizes he isn't uniquely broken. He's just human. He leaves that meeting with tears he didn't expect, tears of relief. He goes home and cleans his room for the first time in months. He throws away the last hidden bottles, searching every corner to make sure they're all gone. He changes his sheets and opens the blinds, letting the light pour in. He builds a tiny routine: wake up, drink water, breathe. He holds onto it like a lifeline. It's not easy. He struggles. He relapses slightly, a moment of weakness that feels like a catastrophe. But this time, he refuses to disappear back into the darkness. He keeps showing up to meetings, even when his ego screams at him to stay home. He calls his friend just to say, "I'm trying." He learns to sit with his discomfort instead of drowning it. He starts journaling. Discovering his pain has words, and giving it a voice makes it less powerful. He walks every morning, just to feel his body move, to feel alive. Slowly, one day at a time, he rebuilds his strength. He meets new people, people in recovery who see him as growing, not failing. And he begins to laugh again, quietly at first, then loudly, genuinely. He looks in the mirror and notices his eyes are clearer. He starts to forgive himself, just a little, and he forgives others even more. He revisits old hobbies he abandoned during the dark years. He picks up a guitar, reads a book, sketches in a notebook. He feels emotions he once thought were dead inside him: joy, curiosity, peace. He reconnects with his family. The conversations are awkward, but they're honest. He apologizes without expecting anything in return. He accepts that healing isn't a straight line, but it's worth every single setback. He learns to find peace in silence rather than fear. He starts to understand that discipline isn't punishment, it's love directed at yourself. And then one day, he realizes he's not just surviving anymore, he's living. He stands outside one morning, watching the sunrise paint the sky with color. He thinks to himself, "I made it this far." Gratitude begins to replace the self-hatred that lived in his heart for so long. He takes a deep breath as the warm light hits his face, and he finally understands. Rock bottom wasn't the end, it was the door. He steps forward, fully awake, fully alive, ready to rebuild the life he once abandoned. If you're struggling, please know you're not alone, and help is available. Reaching out is a sign of strength, not weakness. You can find resources and support by calling or texting 988 in the US and Canada, or by calling 111 in the UK. Your story isn't over. Thank you for watching.